Greetings, Indie Warriors, and welcome to yet another edition of The Dream Drop, your rundown on all of the exciting indie, AA, and niche titles for the week of October 27th through November 2nd of 2025. My name is Old Gamer Joe, and can you believe October is already coming to an end? Gosh, I'm gonna miss it, and it really flew by, but it was full of amazing indie releases. It was a lot of fun this year here at the channel. We aren't done yet, though, as we approach the holiday season. No way. So don't think you can put that credit card away. You're still gonna need it. But real quick, while you've got it out there, why not support indie visibility and head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames. You'll gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community, enjoy early ad-free shows, get a shout out at the end of every video we produce, our podcast 3 days early, and so much more. But best of all, you're supporting indie visibility. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. Alright, up first this week we have a sequel from Pine Studio. It's Escape Simulator 2. Following the success of its predecessor, you'll once again put on your thinking cap to tackle a variety of first-person puzzles in an attempt to escape rooms, naturally. Work solo or with friends as you unravel the game's many secrets. Even better, this sequel will have a room editor so that you can create your own brain ticklers and stress out all of your other friends. With bigger themed rooms and up to 8 players, this should be a blast when it drops on the 27th. History buffs may find themselves interested in this next release, Master of Command, which is being brought to us by Armchair History Interactive. Taking place during the 18th century, you'll control forces in epic real-time battles in this procedurally generated real-time tactical title. Carefully manage your resources, take out foes swiftly, and make tough decisions that could change everything. Fans of the genre will enjoy an epic campaign, so grow stronger through each victory and seize the day later this week. Perhaps you thirst for a Lovecraftian FPS this week instead? Well, I've got good news for you. Beneath is rising out of its grave and into your living room, bringing with it great, grim art in a fast, frantic gameplay loop. Fans of the genre will be pleased to know that it features a full single-player campaign, which is said to last over 10 hours. Now talk about getting your money's worth. The game's looking to be very old school, so expect a tough challenge, though to even the odds, you'll have tons of weapons which can be upgraded. Try not to lose your mind when Beneath surfaces on the 27th. Take control of Private Investigator Declan Ward in the Séance of Blake Manor, a mystery game where you must find a woman who's gone missing. Inside this manor, you'll find more than just a missing persons case, however, as the dead seem to be returning. Players will need to listen for clues carefully as they interrogate suspects and try to piece things together. Each day matters in this release, and the clock ticks with each new choice that you make. Your deductive skills will be pushed to the limits in this creepy-looking release coming to us from Spooky Doorway and publisher Raw Fury. It's inspired by Irish mythology too, which I think is pretty rad. Moving right along, a classic point-and-click adventure game returns. Well, this is actually a new adventure for an old franchise, to be clear. Simon the Sorcerer Origins. Originally inspired by the tone and vibe of Terry Pratchett's Discworld novels, which themselves came to be point-and-click video games, this long-coming prequel offers beautiful art with classic point-and-click style gameplay. That said, modern touches will be available, such as the ability to highlight every object on the screen. Great news if you don't love pixel hunting. Grab this charming-looking title early this week. You dang kids in your idle RPGs? Well, get ready to add another one to your library with Desktop Heroes, which is coming to the Steam PC platform this week. The game looks to peacefully run in the background as you go about your tasks, allowing you to build up an epic party of characters, take down monsters, gather up treasure, and do all those fun little RPG things that you love to do. Hopefully it won't be too much of a distraction from your day job. While there's no shortage of survivors games these days, why not add yet another one to your collection with the release of The Horde Wants You Dead? Alright, you gotta admit, that's a pretty damn cool title for a game. This top-down shooter allows for up to 4 players to battle back mobs of enemies, getting stronger as the run progresses. Use an assortment of guns and grenades to survive for as long as possible, but just know death will come and it will come often. You can grab this release later in the week, which is coming to us from Belly Flop Games. A deck builder at last, but this one comes with a twist or two. Not only can you do a bit of monster collecting in Decktamer, but it has, say it with me now, roguelike elements. Steal cards from your foes and grow stronger in this dark, grim world. You'll need to make some tough decisions here. Do you spare each monster and take control, or do you wipe it from existence? The choice is yours when Decktamer gets dealt this week. Here's a game that I got to play at PAX a few months back, and I really enjoyed it. It's MotionRec, launching on PC from Handsome and Publisher Playism. It's a puzzle platformer of sorts, but one with a major catch. Players will need to record themselves and either fast forward or rewind to progress through levels. Sounds annoying? Nah, it's actually a ton of fun, and the game's limited color palette also works to surprising effect. So don't sleep on this hidden indie gem. Something tells me it might become a cult classic. Plus, solving each room makes you feel really dang smart. If you can solve it, that is. I smell a rat in this next release. A roguelite survival horror title where, yes, you control a dirty stinking rat. Try to escape an AI test facility as you weave your way through an assortment of tricky mazes in cyber rats. You'll be encountering all sorts of experimental monstrosities along the way. Put an end to this evil AI, but be warned, it won't be easy thanks to mazes being procedurally generated. Is there any escape to be had? Why not find out for yourself when this vile vermin releases onto Steam PC from Outpost Games early into the week. If the winter's getting you down and you're fed up with gray skies and rain, why not get that sunny feeling by exploring the beautiful Adriatic coastline in Bura, The Way the Wind Blows? Inspired by Studio Ghibli films, this colorful game lets you explore the land, sea, and sky at your own pace, connecting with the spirits of old Croatian folktales and the animals that inhabit the world. The story follows our protagonist as she grows up, overcomes the challenges of life, and learns all about lost Mediterranean culture and traditions. Feel the warmth of Bura, The Way the Wind Blows, on the 27th. If getting cozy isn't your thing and instead you're looking for a very difficult puzzle to solve that's suitably spooky, then take a look at Netbreak. The game has you digging through the dark web looking for clues to break into the Kilobytes vault. Some of those clues can't be trusted, some sites are just a distraction, and some will make your life much more difficult. But you can't be too locked in on our computer as there are multiple enemies who will try to kill you, arrest you, or simply play with you, though their playing does seem to include a lot of violence. Find all the hashes, decrypt them, and uncover mysteries of the dark web this week. If you are one of those kids that spend a lot of time on the Cool Math Game website, then maybe Node Math will be the game for you. It's an idle factory title. Simplicity is the key here, as all you need to do is combine numbers with operators to make money and reach your goals. The more money you make, the more nodes you can unlock, and the more money you make, and so on and so forth. It's simple in nature and simple in looks, but has all the hallmarks of being incredibly satisfying once you get into it. Trains, guns, zombies, everything you could possibly need for a fun time. This top-down action roguelite has you controlling a weapon-ready train that must plow through hordes of zombies to rescue survivors and gain much-needed upgrades. In Choo Survivor 2, each run offers a different set of challenges with optional bosses and various weapons to contend with as you battle your way to the final boss and try not to get overwhelmed by zombies. The first game had really great reviews from players, and the sequel looks to be just as fun as the first, with even more monsties to contend with. Choose wisely and pick this one up later in the week. In a surprising move, a classic DS game is returning next, Dementium: The Ward. Featuring a sparkling new 4K resolution, this once handheld horror experience also comes fully equipped with retro display modes if you want to keep it as true to the original release as possible. Taking place within a haunted hospital, you must take down vile creatures, discover a deeper, darker mystery, and use an assortment of weapons to try and survive. Don't let the lights go out, you never know what lurks in the dark. It's cool to see an obscure little horror game like this return. I'm all about it. Next up, we have Orbyss, a game taking place in a futuristic digital world where you control a firefly that bounces from orb to orb in an effort to bring this strange place back to life. Tackle tricky logic-based puzzles and carefully use your reflexes, as you'll sometimes need to control more than one orb at a time. The game can almost feel like it's a co-op experience to some degree, as there are different moving parts, but it's all controlled by you, a single player. It's a bit dark and brooding too, with some cool gameplay mechanics such as being able to freeze time. Add in some sound-based cues that have you relying on your ears, and you've got yourself a trippy little indie that at the least looks like it's worth adding to your gaming wishlist. On to our next release, Still It Runs. While this is a stealth game, it's not your usual affair, as you get to play as an adorable kitty. You'll rummage through an old home, collecting both items and memories. Be careful, even the slightest of noises could spell the end. Inspired by Japanese horror, this indie is assured to be a bizarre experience. If you're a cat lover and happen to like stealth games, this could be the perfect match for you this Halloween. I guess it's gonna be one of those weird weeks in the indie gaming scene. With Halloween fast approaching, it's the last chance for indies to drop their spooky releases in time with the holiday. Dead Exhale just makes the cut, so take a breath. It's coming to us from O'Dale Studios on the 27th. Make sure you have your microphone plugged in for this one because, yep, this is one of those games that tracks every sound you make. You're being hunted by a monster, so hold your breath if you hope to survive. Just please don't hold it too long, okay? The monster grows smarter as your run progresses, so be prepared to adapt in this frightening-looking title. The game even tosses in a few puzzles, just as you would expect. Some comic relief next. Here we go with Hoomanz. Yet another stealth game of sorts. Interesting because we really don't get a ton of stealth releases week to week. Nice to see. The game is going to be a more family-friendly affair with no violent combat to be concerned with as you control Choo, the guardian of a planet named Earth. Scare off the dastardly Hoomanz using both your environment and an assortment of tools. Nature plays a role too, so be prepared to deal with the elements. Hoomanz should be a great choice for players that are looking for something more casual to enjoy with family. Saying that silly poly beast looks trippy would be an understatement. In this new release from Top Hat Studios, expect the unexpected. It looks like a mix of survival horror, it's got some story in there, some puzzles, and some really insane oddities that look off the wall. I'm getting a bit of a Persona mixed with Resident Evil vibe of some kind, maybe even a bit of that Suda51 flavor. Whatever it ends up being, I can't wait to find out, as Silly Poly Beast looks like one of the most fascinating games to drop on the 28th. We've all done our share of doom scrolling on social media, admit it, but we aren't here to talk about Twitter or X or whatever the heck it's called these days. Instead, our next release is Death by Scrolling, coming to PC and consoles from Terrible Toybox and Microprose. This vertical scrolling RPG features roguelike elements and takes place in Purgatory. Choose between a variety of unique characters and tackle an endless slew of levels as you battle back monsters and avoid death, quite literally. The game also has collectibles for you to grab and no shortage of side quests, meaning that hours of entertainment await. Let's see what Blue Goo Games have cooking up next with Space Chef on the 28th. It's a survival RPG of sorts mixed with life sim elements that takes place in a universe known as Horseshoe Nebula. Explore a variety of different alien worlds as you cook up strange concoctions. With 140 dishes to master, nobody should go hungry. Grow your reputation and become the best chef in the galaxy as you meet a wild cast of characters. You'll craft items and even furnish your restaurant to your liking. And yes, no dietary shaming here, as the food can also be vegetarian or vegan. Suddenly I'm hungry. War is hell, and you'll soon find out why in real-time strategy game DSS2 War Industry. Fans of the genre should know what to expect here. There's going to be plenty of drama, strategic planning, and intense battles. Build up your city, carefully manage all of the resources that you're able to gather, and enjoy flexible game modes that make it so newcomers won't feel overwhelmed. Fans of the genre can grab this one on the 28th, coming to us from Viking Fabian and releasing on PC. Now we head to the year 1986 on the Bermuda Triangle in Ear, a prologue which is coming to us from Probably Monsters. Avoid a terrifying monster as you attempt to find your missing father aboard a ship. If you enjoy 80s and 90s stylized horror in particular, this one will speak to you. Action takes place from the first-person perspective as you rely on stealth, walkie-talkies, and other audio cues in this spooky indie that fits the season well. You can also grab this one on the 28th, if you dare. This next game is a creature collector that looks completely adorable. It's Pipkin, being released by Greg Dude. With a lovely fall aesthetic, the game has you trying to round up Pipkin using over 250 moves, even offering a hard mode if the challenge isn't steep enough for you. This RPG looks to cut through all the bloat, offering a streamlined experience that will last gamers around 10 hours or so. I didn't know much about this one prior to putting this list together, but I instantly ended up tossing it on my wish list, and I may very well grab it day one. It's that stinking cute looking. 1998, the best year, mainly because our very own Scrambled Ashton was apparently born then, but I totally wrote this blurb myself, I promise. Totally. But we're not talking about that 1998 today. No, we are instead focusing on the new indie game, 1998, The Toll Keeper's Story, a brand new narrative simulation about morality, motherhood, and surviving a national collapse. In a fictional Southeast Asian country, you'll play as a regular woman trying to get through her day-to-day life as a toll booth operator where every decision has consequences. You'll have to juggle making the right choice with the moral choice and factor in how that will affect you and the unborn baby. Pay the toll of morality when this one launches this week. Another game all about family and the choices we make for them in the form of narrative story, as long as you're here. Through the eyes of a woman with Alzheimer's disease, you'll experience the incredibly personal story of a life turned upside down, a family trying to cope with new dynamics, and a life of memories that are bleeding together. A short but hard-hitting experience, you'll explore Annie's life, the loss of her brother, and how diseases like this can affect the entire family. Play through the story of Annie's life this week, but maybe get your tissues ready before you do. That's right, we have another horror game for the spookiest week of the year now, as we take a look at Livber, Smoke and Mirrors, the upcoming psychological horror title all about obsession, twisted love, and madness. 5 years ago, your lover disappeared, but now she's back and she wants you to come home as she promises to birth our creation, whatever horrible thing that may entail. This text-based interactive story has so many ways for you to change and rewrite things, with over 60,000 words to read if you want to see it all. A story all about the twisted ways in which we view love. You're sure to have some nightmares about your partner once you've given this one a play. Something totally different now as we head into the sci-fi world of Dark Moon, an upcoming survival strategy title where sunbeams are your biggest enemy. You've got to captain an ever-moving ship, avoiding the sun's deadly rays and embracing the dark side of the moon. Kind of like that Pink Floyd album. You'll gather resources, upgrade your base, and make important choices to your survival. You also need to manage your crew and base as the terrain changes and throws new challenges your way through every playthrough. Get your shades, sun cream, and big hat on because avoiding the sun is the name of the game when Dark Moon launches this week. BRAINROT, we've all got it, whether you've spent too long scrolling through TikTok, are constantly begging the youngsters in your life to explain what 6-7 could possibly mean, or you simply don't know how to stop quoting stupid memes. And thankfully, someone has made a game where you and up to 8 pals can have brain rot together. Isn't that nice? This chaotic climbing adventure called Only Up Brain Rot Together has you navigating kooky levels, avoiding traps, and surviving brain rot creatures, whatever that means. Clamber up to the top when Only Up Brain Rot Together launches on the 29th. Hey, Drop Dead, the cabin, the 80s called, and they want their whole vibe back. This multiplayer survival horror FPS is inspired by the 1980s and has you and a friend shooting through waves of zombies in a spooky cabin in the woods. A roguelike that can be played on PC and in VR, you'll have to battle through hordes of 80s zombies that have been created by an evil scientist, Dr. Monday, in this spooky abandoned cabin. You need to fight to keep the power on and survive till morning as you battle to make everyone drop dead this week. Love is in the air now as we take a look at the remake of Da Capo known as DC Re-Tune. An iconic school romance adventure, you'll have the opportunity to romance a whole host of new heroines on this island of Hatsunejima, where cherry blossoms bloom all year round and the magical main character can create Japanese sweets out of thin air. The remake includes new storylines, full Japanese voice acting, and upgraded graphics. You can romance these ladies and feel the spring vibes when DC Re-Tune blossoms onto Steam this week. Gosh, what sort of simulators will they come up with next? Ultimate Theater Simulator is making its big debut on Steam, so get ready to roll out the red carpet on the 29th. Manage your very own theater from the first-person perspective, and I do mean everything. You'll be in charge of the food, the pricing, the employees. It all falls on your shoulders. Heck, you even have to set up the movie and chase out those damn pesky kids that try to sneak in for free. Live out your cinema-owning dreams in this release from Steelbox Games. Our next game on the list serves as a prologue of sorts for Plague Lords. It's Plague Lords Witch Hunt, which I personally think is a little confusing, but whatever. Control a mercenary squad and lead your soldiers into tactical battles as you explore the first of 5 planned chapters. Expect the usual building mechanics too, and there's also going to be plenty of traps for players to set up, so strategy fans should look forward to giving this one a go. Hopefully it gives you a good taste of what's to come in the final release. Having previously been released on PC, Switch players will now be able to enjoy Asfalia, Panic at the Mansion, a kid-friendly adventure that has you on a quest to find lost puppies. Players will solve a variety of puzzles, collect stickers, and meet all sorts of unique characters in this touching release that gives off feel-good vibes. If you're still interested, another game in this franchise is also dropping on the Switch this week, Asfalia the Cranky Volcano, so be sure to check that one out too. Okay, on to the next one. It's the first title from Relic Labs, a new sub-developer of Relic Entertainment, aiming to release smaller, more experimental strategy titles as opposed to their larger-scale releases. This is Earth vs. Mars, a turn-based strategy game where the forces of Earth will face a brutal Martian invasion. Earth vs. Mars will include a full single-player campaign with over 30 handcrafted missions, online 1v1 multiplayer, a full map editor, and an incredible visual style that's sure to help it stand out from other titles in the genre. Indie releases seemingly don't get much more content-packed than this, so let's hope Earth vs. Mars delivers on its promise when it releases on the 30th. After being stuck on the quest for some time, content-packed VR shooter Zero Caliber 2 Remastered is landing on Steam, with so many PC VR improvements that it's arguably a remaster of the original Quest release. Not content with releasing a lazy port, Zero Caliber 2 Remastered features a full campaign that can be played solo or in co-op mode, competitive multiplayer modes, intensely cinematic firefights, and a heck of a visual upgrade. If you're looking for your new VR shooter obsession, look no further. Next on this list, Stray Children is an RPG that asks the question, if you were a child, what would you do if every adult in your life suddenly started to attack you? In this dark fairy tale, that's exactly what you'll find out. Stray Children features an incredible, beautiful pixel art style and turn-based battles with these dreadful olders who you can choose to fight or take a non-violent approach and talk them out of battle, similar to that other game that I think was kind of popular, Undersale, Thundertale, Sundersale? Yeah, that sounds about right. Hopefully no adults eat you before you get a chance to check out Stray Children when it hits PC and Switch on the 30th. Wow, there is a lot going on in Majogami, a self-described papercraft character action game that seems to take cues from classic 2D platformers and Bayonetta. You'll play as Shiroa, a young girl whose father has been turned into paper. Experience flashy combat, a full story mode featuring over 35 stages, and Japanese voice acting to flesh out a huge variety of interesting characters. Majogami releases on October 30th. Next, ready for another 3D platformer in the Asterix and Obelix franchise? Asterix and Obelix Mission Babylon is a brand new adventure filled with silly humor, an action-packed story, and even a local co-op mode. For this installment, our heroes journey through a faraway kingdom called the Parthian Empire, which is under threat of invasion. Can they save King Monopini before he succumbs to the deadly poison of the Sorcerer Bamboozly? I swear these are the actual names of the characters, so clearly this is not a game that will be taking itself too seriously. 3D platformer fans take note when Asterix and Obelix Mission Babylon releases on the 30th. Team could always use more interesting driving games, and ADRIFT looks to be bringing a wild psychedelic style to the genre when it releases this coming Thursday. Deliver your fragile energy core across a beautifully colorful desert, but be careful because every moment the energy core spends in the desert could be a moment too many. ADRIFT aims to provide a mix of serene visuals, mysterious lore, and a unique vaporwave style to make this a driving game quite unlike any other. Does anything scream Halloween more than a game called GORE? GORE is a cosmic horror game taking on a found footage style where you'll explore the mountainous Pacific Northwest as you look to uncover the source of the gross, fleshy monsters inhabiting this world. Armed with only your flashlight and camcorder, GORE aims to bring a level of psychological horror to the table that should have players fearing for their virtual lives. Check this one out when it hits Steam on the 30th. Next, who's up for a retro RPG with some rhythm-based mechanics? Away From Home has a gorgeous pixel art style and an interesting concept that mixes traditional JRPG design with a rhythm game battle component. Taking place in a large world with several alternate routes included to add decision-making components and replayability, Away From Home looks like exactly the type of game both JRPG fans and rhythm game fans should get a kick out of. If you long for the good old survival horror game days of tank controls and fixed camera angles, you should give Flesh Made Fear a look when it releases this Halloween. Take on the role of an operative at the cleverly named RIP, or Reaper Intervention Platoon, a covert team aiming to take out a former CIA agent who seemingly lost his mind and began to perform some horrific experiments in a sparsely populated backwater town. This new horror title comes to us from the folks who made Suffer the Night and Terror at Oakheart, so they know what they're doing when it comes to building a retro-tinted sense of dread. Let's hope that trend continues when Flesh Made Fear hits Steam this week. Alright folks, looks like we have another title this week aiming to pick up the mantle where classic management sim The Movies left off 20 whole years ago. Was The Movies really 20 years ago? God, that's gross. Anyways, Super Movie Tycoon is a movie studio simulator where you'll write scripts, design sets, and otherwise craft every little detail of your movie to make sure it's the sort of blockbuster that people will remember. We haven't had a whole lot of luck with movie-making sims like this recently, but hopefully this one can buck that trend. On Halloween week, you surely didn't think we were done with spooky titles yet, did you? Of course not. Let's talk about 7th Floor, a creepy first-person horror game that has you searching for your missing daughter Claire in a freaky abandoned hospital, or seemingly abandoned? Okay, maybe not actually so abandoned after all. Search the hospital for items, ammunition, and weapons to help you survive, and be careful to avoid the dreadful doctor who roams the halls. If you're looking for some spooky combat and puzzle solving, 7th floor should fit the bill nicely. We've got one last Halloween-focused title for you this week, and appropriately enough, it releases on Halloween Day. Jester, A Foolish Ritual is a cooperative survival horror game taking place in a dreadful medieval castle where you're hunted by a diabolical jester. Play as one of 4 knights and cooperate through proximity voice chat with your friends. With adjustable difficulty and the replayability that comes with each run being randomly generated, hopefully Jester, A Foolish Ritual will be a plenty good time when it hits Steam this Halloween. Next up is Cats and Cups, a cozy job simulator where you'll run a cat-themed coffee shop and all of your customers are future feline friends. Enjoy this title's colorful hand-drawn art while making a variety of drinks and keep your customers satisfied. In addition to coffee making, you'll be able to upgrade and customize your little cat cafe however you please, with options to add decor, furniture, and plenty of other elements to make this cafe your own. Check out Cats and Cups the 1st of November. Last, but certainly not least, thankfully for my voice, is Carefully Stamped, another cozy job sim where you'll design your own creative postcards and decorate them with notes, stickers, and stamps before sending them on their way. Carefully Stamped aims to let you play the way you want in either normal or creative mode, the former of which will task you with being creative with a limited design palette, while the latter will let you do whatever your heart desires. Anybody looking for a chill out after Halloween should check this one out when it releases on November 1st. But that's gonna do it for this week, folks. Surely that was enough games for you. Voice to the voiceless, and I'll see you on the channel for more great indie gaming coverage.